Imagine Vivian, Birmingham, 1957. She is 23 years old and dressed for a Sunday afternoon visit to a man's family she has met exactly twice. White cotton gloves, a pressed navy dress, not one hair out of place. She is not performing wealth. She is performing something harder to name and harder to take away. She had 25 unspoken rules. No one wrote them down. No manual existed. Her mother handed them across a kitchen table the way you pass a pot, without ceremony, without explanation. Some of these rules will make immediate sense. A few will make you angry. And number one is the rule that explains why she walked into every room like she had already won. Number 25. She was always dressed before he arrived. Always. He was expected at 4 o'clock. She was ready at 3:15. Not rushing. Not scrambling. Already composed. Already still. Already where she needed to be. Her mother gave her this rule without an explanation attached to it. She did not need one. In a world where a woman could be assessed, judged, and dismissed before she finished a sentence, there was no margin for being caught unready. Scrambling was not something the community would miss, and the community never missed anything. She was not dressing for him. She was dressing for the record. What could be held against her? Nothing they could see. Number 24 was about what she wore, but the reason behind it was not what you think. Number 24. She never wore red to meet his mother. Navy, sage green, a warm burgundy in winter, but never red. Not to his family's house, not on a first visit. She understood. The way women in her circle understood everything. That color said something before you opened your mouth. In tight church communities, red on a woman read forward, bold, sexual. She was not ashamed of red. She wore red beautifully. She was strategic about the room. She got the information across a kitchen table from her auntie, and it cost her nothing. Number 23 was quieter than red, but louder than almost anything else. Number 23. She never spoke first about money, his or hers. First dinners, second dinners. She listened, asked about his people, asked about his family's history in the city, asked what kind of man his father was. She did not ask what he made. She did not tell him what she had. Her mother's instruction was plain. Let a man show you what he values before you show him what you need. This was not coyness. This was intelligence gathering. Black women in that era had very little legal or financial protection inside relationships. Knowing a man's character before exposing your needs was not romantic strategy. It was survival logic. She was not playing coy. She was collecting information. Number 22 happened before they ever left the house together. Number 22. She told someone where she was going. Every time. Her mother, her auntie, the neighbor 2 doors down. She left a name and an address before she left the house. Every time, without fail, without embarrassment. It sounds like surveillance. It was protection. Black women in the 1950s in the South especially, but in the North too, had limited formal recourse if something went wrong on an evening out. The community network was the safety system. It was informal and non-negotiable, and it worked because women kept it alive. Today, people share live locations on their phones and call it being cautious. She called it Tuesday. The community was watching, and sometimes that was the only thing keeping her safe. Number 21 was a rule about what she ate, and it protected more than her reputation. Number 21. She never ate a full meal on a first date. Restaurant. 1,958. Gloved hand resting on the menu. She ordered lightly and deliberately. Her auntie's rule, delivered at a kitchen table. Don't let a man see you hungry. It sounds like performing smallness. It was not. Accepting too much too early, even a meal, even a generous dinner created a social debt. She understood the architecture of obligation. If she owed him a large evening, she owed him something. She controlled the size of what she accepted, and therefore the size of what he could claim. She ate when she got home. What she kept was her independence. Whole podcasts, books, and relationship coaches now build platforms around the concept of not creating obligation early. She understood it in 1958 and called it supper. Number 20 was about something she never brought up, and it protected her for decades. Number 20. She never mentioned a previous relationship unless directly asked, and even then, briefly. His question would hang in the air. She would answer with one sentence and move the conversation forward. Church mothers at the salon We're clear about this. Your past is yours. You are not on trial. In an era when a woman's romantic history could follow her permanently, when one piece of gossip could close a door in her face across 3 neighborhoods, strategic privacy was not dishonesty. It was self-preservation. She was not hiding. She was protecting something that belonged only to her. Modern culture has become obsessed with radical transparency, trauma dumping on early dates, performing vulnerability as proof of realness. She knew something different. You share what you choose, with who earns it, when you decide. Number 19. She never missed church, the Sunday after a first date. 9 o'clock. Church pew. Pressed dress. Different from the one he had seen. 3 rows back. The women who knew his family were already watching. She understood that being seen in church the morning after a first date reset the narrative before it could be written wrong. In tight black communities of the 1950s, church attendance was social proof. It spoke before she said a word. It placed her in a category. It reminded certain women that her character was not in question. It was not about God that Sunday. Not entirely. It was about the women who would report back. Number 18. She kept her home visit short. His mother's kitchen. She stayed 90 minutes. Said the right things, laughed at the right moments, left before she overstayed. Her mother's rule was simple. Leave them wanting more. Overstaying gave people too many angles. Stay long enough to make a strong impression. Leave before a single crack appeared. She gave them enough to approve of, and not enough to find fault with. Departure timing as impression management. She did not invent it. She practiced it with precision that most people never develop in a lifetime. Number 17. She always sent a written thank you. Her kitchen table. A note card. The morning after. Her mother had insisted on this, and the church ladies had confirmed it through their collective silence on the subject, meaning a woman who did not send a note was already being discussed. It was a stamp and a card. It was also a move that most women did not make, which meant it was remembered. Manners were not soft skills in 1957. They were reputation management. Today, thank you notes appear on LinkedIn lists of professional differentiators. She knew it as basic. Number 16. She never complained about another woman to him. Not once. Salon rule. Passed between chairs, between sets, between cups. Let him believe you are the peaceful one. In a community where reputation was the real currency, being the woman who did not gossip, who did not tear other women down in conversation with a man, made her the steady one, the safe one, the one who seemed to have no enemies. Silence about other women was not kindness in every case. It was positioning, and it worked. Number 15. She had her own money. Always. Even if it was small. Small envelope. Second drawer. Emergency funds that belonged to no one else. Her grandmother's instruction was direct. Never be caught needing a man to get home. This was not bitterness. This was architecture. Financial independence in an era when women's options were genuinely limited was not a feminist slogan. It was a physical safety net, an emotional floor, a door that stayed partially open no matter what happened. Nobody called it a financial plan. It was just the second drawer. The idea now has a name, a content category, and a large financial wellness industry behind it. She had it in an envelope, tucked away quietly, because her grandmother said so. Number 14. She never cried in front of his family, not once. A difficult visit. Something said that stung. Her face stayed composed. Her voice stayed even. She held it until she reached the car, until the door closed, until it was hers to do with what she needed. Her mother's version of this rule was plain. You can fall apart at home. Not there. Emotional composure in front of people who had not yet fully accepted her was not coldness. Vulnerability shown too early gave others leverage. She was not cold. She was careful about where she put her softness. And softness shown to the wrong audience in the wrong moment was not intimacy. It was exposure. Number 13. She always knew who his people were before she gave him more than her first name. Church. Casual conversation. Women asking indirect questions with practiced ease, what neighborhood his family was from, who his mother was related to, what his father did. Women in these communities shared information about men the way they shared recipes freely, completely, without announcement. She did not need a background check. She needed 3 phone calls. The modern version of this is social media research, public record searches, Google, apps built specifically for vetting dates. She did it through a network of women who had been watching the same families for decades. She did not need a search bar. She needed 3 phone calls. Number 12. She never let a disagreement happen in public. A tense moment on a sidewalk. Something said, "Wrong." Her voice dropped. Her face stayed still. The conversation moved inside, behind a door, away from the street. Her mother said it once and never repeated it. The street is not your living room. Public conflict left permanent evidence. People who witnessed it would carry it. It would be described later at kitchen tables she was not sitting at, in language she could not correct. What they could not see, they could not use. Number 11. She only introduced him to her children after months, not weeks. Months of Saturdays passed before he sat at Sunday dinner with her children. She had watched other women move too fast and had watched those children form attachments that the man did not honor. She was not slow. She was a mother first. This is now called intentional parenting, protecting your peace, being mindful of who you expose your children to. There are entire content categories built around the concept. She simply understood that children attach, and that what they attach to matters, and that she was the one responsible for managing that threshold. Number 10. She dressed for his community, not just for him. She knew his church, his neighborhood, the general register of how women dressed there. She chose her outfit for that room, not for his preferences, because people would decide about her before he even finished the introduction. She was dressing to pass a test nobody had told her she was taking. She was not dressing for love. She was dressing for acceptance, because in that era, acceptance from his community determined how her life inside that community would go. She understood the audience before she entered the room. Number 9. She never chased. A man who stopped calling. She noticed. She returned to her routine without a word, without a message sent, without an explanation demanded. Her mother's version of this was blunt. If he knows where you are and is not coming, that is your answer. She did not play hard to get. She had other things to do, and she did them. The coaching industry built around feminine energy, around not chasing, around allowing men to pursue it, is a large and profitable category now. She understood it as simple math. If someone chooses not to show up, the information is complete. She just had other things to do. Number 8. She kept her complaints about marriage inside the marriage. A neighbor asking how things were. "Fine. Thank you," said warmly, said finally, said as a full sentence that closed the door. Church mother rule. Keep your home private or everyone will have an opinion about it, and everyone's opinion will cost you something. She was not suppressing herself. She was protecting something. Her marriage was not content. It was hers. Number 7. She maintained friendships with women even after marriage. Saturday afternoon. Her friend's kitchen. He was home. She was here. This was not negotiable. Her grandmother had been clear. A woman without her women is a woman alone, even in a full house. The research now supports what she already knew. Women's friendships with other women have measurable effects on mental and physical health outcomes. Now it is a wellness topic with studies and articles. She called it a visit. It was her sanity, her safety, and her support system, and she protected it with the same discipline she brought to everything else. Number 6. She never let him see the whole of her fear. A difficult month. Rent running close to the edge, something uncertain in the household, a pressure that did not show on her face at the table. She had learned selective vulnerability. She chose who received her fear and in what measure. This was not dishonesty. In an era where a woman who appeared fragile lost ground, composure was protective. She was afraid. She was also strategic about who got to see it. She was soft with her children, her sister, her God, and herself. Everyone else received composure, and composure was not the absence of feeling. It was the management of it. Number 5. She never stopped being someone outside of him. Her own books. her own seat on the church committee, her own skill that people in the community knew her for before he arrived and would know her for if he left. Her grandmother's instruction was precise. Make sure people know your name separate from his. Identity preservation in marriage was not rebellion. It was architecture. If the marriage ended, and she had watched enough marriages to know that they sometimes did, she would still be someone. She would not need to rebuild herself from the beginning. She was not being difficult. She was being irreducible. Number 4, she chose who saw her soft. Late at night, her own kitchen, after the children were in bed, after the day had finished pressing on her that was the only place she let the surface fall away. She had watched her mother practice this and had understood without being told. Softness was not a weakness. It was something precious that required choosing. She was soft with her children, her sister, the women she trusted, herself, and God, in roughly that order. Everyone else received composure, warmth, and competence. People called her reserved. She called it choosing. There is a difference. Number 3, she married someone her community could confirm. He met the church mothers before he met her father. That meeting mattered more than he knew. These women had watched men come through their community for decades. They knew the patterns. They recognized the ones who would not stay, who could not be trusted with a woman's softness, who behaved differently when no one important was watching. Community vetting was collective protection in an era when black women had limited legal recourse inside marriage. The church mothers were not being nosy. They were being her witnesses. Their approval was not just social, it was accountability. Number 2, she required respect in private before she gave loyalty in public. Early in the relationship, a disagreement came. Something said wrong, a correction needed. She watched how he handled it when the door was closed and no audience was present. Her mother's direction was plain. See who he is when the door is closed. That is the man you are choosing. Public behavior is performance. Anyone can perform for an audience. Private behavior is character. She did not need a list of his qualities, a compatibility quiz, a love language assessment, or a shared vision board. She needed one closed door and one hard moment. What happened inside that moment told her everything. Number 1. She never agreed that she needed to be fixed to be chosen. Come back to Vivian. Birmingham, 1957. White cotton gloves laid on the kitchen table before she leaves. Straight posture. A string of pearls. Shoes that have been polished. She is not entering rooms hoping someone will find her acceptable. She is entering rooms having already decided that she is whole, and that what happens in the room is simply filtering, not judgment, not assessment, not a verdict on her worth. Every rule in this countdown, the gloves, the silence, the note card sent the next morning, the envelope in the second drawer, the composed face when something was said that stung every single one of them rested on this. You can only protect something you believe is worth protecting. She never agreed that she was incomplete. She never agreed that she needed a product, a program, a correction, or a permission to be enough. The modern self-help industry, the dating coaching industry, the beauty industry, significant portions of their revenue depend on a woman first believing she is not enough and then buying the solution. She never signed that contract. She walked into rooms having already chosen herself. Everything else was just filtering. That is what the gloves were about. Not fashion, not formality. The gloves were a woman who had already decided, before she left the house, that she was worth the preparation. Her granddaughter orders shea butter online today. Different container, cleaner label, softer packaging. Same rule. She thinks she found it herself. She did not find it. She remembered it. The photograph is still on the table. Look closer. She was not performing perfection. She was demonstrating something much harder to buy, and much harder to lose once you genuinely have it. Pick one of these rules, the one that landed deepest. Write it down somewhere. Then ask yourself honestly, did you inherit this, or did someone teach you to forget it?